More gentle.
One back. Hello?
This is Canada. This is supposed to be a free country. I'm here to protest, you know. We have the right to protest. That's one thing. Now we even been denied the places to protest. We went farther down and the police chased us away.
I'm here for my freedom, and it's not over till it's over. So we're told to stand on guard, and that's what we're doing, standing firm.
They're turning it into a communistic system, especially Trudeau and Ford.
You can't help but notice, you know, the Prime Minister.
Sorry, I had to get the door. We are talking about a movement of people that do not represent the interests of the broader workforce, are the minority within that broader workforce, technically claiming to fight for the rest of the workforce, are literally anti-communist, like openly anti-communist. They expressly mention that they fucking hate communism. Just so remind yourself of that when you're watching like some fucking dumbass lefty or whatever who's like, who's claiming that this is like a real workers' movement or whatever. Like, they're not seeking to uplift anyone's material conditions. This is my favorite thing. They are not the minority. So 9%, 10% is not the minority. Not only are they a tiny fringe minority, but like the fucking Teamsters have come out against them. The Teamsters Union, which actually represents the interests of 50,000 truckers in Canada, came out against them. So what do you mean? Like, this is not a fucking real workers' movement. There is no such thing as a workers' movement that is like led by reactionary individuals, like actual fucking fascists among their ranks. They're openly fucking anti-communist, anti-socialist, and are advocating for deregulation of health measures in the workplace that actually actively undermines the health and safety protocols and the health and safety of the truckers. That's not a fucking real movement. And there are historic precedents set by these sorts of spontaneous revolutionary acts, okay? And they're not real. It's also astroturfed by wealthy motherfuckers, Americans. It's just real workers are when people agree with you, and that's it.
Justin Trudeau takes a knee in solidarity with other groups, radical groups, and
does it seem like this is a guy that's just interested in the fucking Vax Pass? No. That motherfucker is protesting because Black Lives Matter offends him. He's protesting because his Facebook post got fucking censored. Because he said some racist ass bullshit, most likely. Half these guys are literally there for a collection of other right-wing to far-right issues that they have with the libtard-ass Justin Trudeau government, okay? There is no honorable reason for why they're there to fucking fight back, like.
And yeah, he doesn't even, he cowers when the people are speaking. So yeah, it really doesn't reflect well on our leaders.
Ontario and a lot of Canadians are fed up with the mandates, they're fed up with the restrictions, and I think a lot of people just want to go back to living their lives.
It's not so much about the mandate, it's all about people's opinions, people's rights, and people's free will. And that's what I'm here to support.
It's come to the point where it's up to us people to do this.
If they want to arrest me, I'm 83 years old. Go ahead, arrest me, you know? Because one thing is...
Where'd that guy immigrate from? I know that in Canada, there are some interesting Ukrainians with a different perspective on history. Maybe they also have like straight Germans, or maybe they have just straight Argentinians, I guess. This guy might be from Argentina. Who knows?
Our generation, our youth and everything, they should have a freedom. We shouldn't force them to get the jab and all those things, you know?
I do think it's going to continue because, you know, there's a lot of people that really believe strongly in what's going on down here.
Yeah, we just need.
The funniest part about these sorts of fucking takes are that, I mean, dude, are you unaware? Are you oblivious to the reality? Do you not look outside? Like every area, every regional leader is actively trying to delete COVID restrictions. Like anywhere, in any way, in any shape, in any form they can. The moment that, I don't know, like COVID starts new COVID cases start going down, they immediately fucking lower restrictions. So what are you complaining about? Like, what is the serious infringement on your personal liberties right now? What is happening? They're doing this everywhere. They're already fucking lowering restrictions everywhere. So why are you still complaining? Yes, but they put them back every time. Yeah, they put them back when there's fucking reason to. Like, what do you think that, you know, I don't understand. This take is so weird because it's like, yeah, but well, didn't they bring it back? It's like, no take backs. Well, there is reason. If COVID is actively spreading in an area and hospitals are becoming overwhelmed and there's a surge, then there's a reason for additional restrictions. Elements change, situation changes, okay? And scientists that are dealing with public health measures have to actually fucking take the appropriate steps necessary to prevent further spread of COVID. We have been in this for 2 fucking years. How are we still having this conversation? Oh my God, dude. No one wants lockdowns. I hate lockdowns. I don't want to wear a fucking mask either. I get it. It's annoying. My libtard ass audience yells at me when I say it, but I'm going to suck the fuck up and I'm going to wear the mask. Especially when there is a fucking spread. There's an active spread, a surge going on. And I'm not wearing a mask for myself. I'm 30 years old. I'm healthy. I'm boosted.
I'm from Long Island, so we used to go into the city all the time to restaurants, plays, concerts, things like that, and now we can't do any of those things. I can't go to get a meal. I can't go to any extra like concerts, nothing like that.
First of all, even that's not true, I'm pretty sure. But if it was true, it's no different than not letting people under the age of 21 into a fucking bar. It's no different than not letting people drive, okay? If they don't have a driver's license. Not letting people under the age of 16 get a provisional driver's license. Why? Because the government needs to do what the government does, which is take action when you are too stupid to fucking take the action yourself. That's what regulations and rules are around. That's why we build, that's why we have built societies. That's kind of what the societies are built around. The government takes actions for you when you're too stupid to fucking do the right thing for your own safety. Especially with a driver's license, for example. There's a reason why we have a restriction on this. Do you think 12-year-olds can't fucking drive? No, I'm sure certain 12-year-olds could probably be apt drivers, right? But the reason why there are laws around it is because most 12-year-olds are not. Most of them can't even fucking reach this, the pedals. It's fucking insane. Okay? That's the reason why we have this. Why won't people say, oh man, what the fuck? These restrictions are ridiculous. Like, if I want to fucking kill myself with a car, then I can. It's like, well, yeah, you're one, killing other people as well. And two, no, there's a reason for why you have to wear a helmet when you're driving a motorcycle. There's a reason why you have to fucking wear a seatbelt when you're driving in a car. Because the government has realized that you're a fucking idiot. And has decided we will actually fucking make the rules for you. Because you're too stupid for your own benefit.
Mandates! Stop up! I love y'all. Thank you very much, guys. Give it up for yourselves.
After a major Supreme Court victory where the Daily Wire was able to smack down Biden and OSHA's tyrannical vaccine mandate for companies with over 100 employees, we are out here at the Defeat the Mandates rally, and we're going to talk to some people about how these mandates are still impacting them and what they think the next steps are. So let's go. So why are you out here today?
Well, I'm out here because I was fired from my remote job, and I've been following the news around the world. I've seen what's happened to people. They are losing their income, they're losing their social lives, they're losing their psychological health, and obviously I've never felt so strongly about something, so I decided to come to Washington today.
You know, there's a lot of talk about religious mandates, medical exemptions. But honestly, just like with any other medical procedure, if you don't want to undergo or you don't want to participate, you should have the right to refuse.
We are here for health choice. People should have a choice. There should be no vaccine passports. This is America, where we value freedom of speech, freedom of choice, right? We're not alone. Look at us.
As a holistic health provider, I feel like it's very important that we get to make our own choices about our medical decisions. There are a variety of tools you can use to keep yourself healthy, and we should.
Of course, dude. Of course. Holistic health provider. 10 points if she mentions she's actually a liberal. Are you ready?
Shouldn't be told by our government what tools to use.
I'm here fighting for my children, for them to enjoy the same freedoms that I've been able to enjoy up to this point, and make sure that they continue to be able to live their life freely and have control over their own bodies and their own lives.
We are totally against mandates of any kind, especially the vax mandates. It's our own body, so why should they tell us what should be in it?
I honestly, it kind of broke my heart to even have such a strong executive order from the office of the president. I don't think the president should have the power to reach into every corner of American life and control someone's internal body systems. And it feels like obvious.
If you have a threat of losing your job or not being able to fully participate in society, that's essentially a form of coercion, and I think that's tyranny to force that.
I just feel like the government is not our doctor, and I feel like we should be able to choose what goes into our body and not be forced. So
Simple thought, right?
yeah, should be.
How have you been personally adversely impacted by these mandates?
Oh, gosh. My kids are in school and they have to deal with, the rules that are imposed upon them, which is a internal struggle for me every day of kind of balancing, what's best for them overall. In my house, sometimes we're a house divided. We've had to overcome challenges due to my husband's work and requirements at his work, that kind of thing.
I've been discriminated against for being unvaccinated in the schools, being kept out of school because of this for absolutely no reason. No.
Bro, if you've gone to a Ben Shapiro rally, you probably did a lot more than just be unvaccinated. People are seeking hardship and victimhood so incredibly hard. It's insane. Like the problem with like the Jim Crow era rules and restrictions, they didn't revolve around something that you could just like easily change. Like you couldn't just take a vaccine and no longer be perceived as a black person. It's not a thing. Let alone, obviously, that's not a necessity regardless. You know what I mean? But like you don't have a genetic predisposition to not getting vaccinated. It's not a thing. Unless you have like a real medical condition, in which case no one will. You're not going to that fucking thing. You know what I mean? You're not going to that meetup to be like, I have a genetic medical disability. Like, no.
Scientific reason whatsoever.
I lived in Maryland. I have been for the past 7 years. I have a master's degree in nursing, and I work with mental health as my specialty. I've lost my job in Maryland. It's really been tough to even apply for the religious exemptions and medical exemptions.
I have been adversely impacted by other vaccine promotions, and I lost my daughter, Christina, 13 years ago to the HPV vaccine.
I'm so sorry.
Thank you. And that is
Wait, what?
It's not hearsay. CDC conceded after 8 years of litigation that she died from the vaccine. And that was my wake-up call that...
I have to fucking find the data on this one. No shot. Today, most of CDC's HPV vaccine safety monitoring research was focused on Gardasil. Among all, dizziness, fainting, pain are the words. 6 were classified as serious. Okay, what's up? There's nothing here. Has anyone died after receiving? Some deaths among people who received the HPV vaccine have been reported to the VAERS system. This does not mean that the vaccine caused the death. From December 1st till December 31st, 2017, in a 3-year period, about 28 million doses of Gardasil 9 have been distributed. Only 7 reports from VAERS. Notice how there's only 7 reports? That's because at that point, it was already like, it was done. However, I'm willing to bet when Gardasil first came out, the HPV vaccine first came out, I'm sure there were a lot more. Only 2 were verified through medical record review, autopsy report, and death certificates. The other reports were considered hearsay based on secondhand information, meaning there was not enough information to confirm whether the death occurred. So the older one, when it first came out of the 80 million doses, 183 reports of death. And among the 183 reports of death, CDC researchers were able to review, and there were only 67 where there was like a verification for the death. 116 could not be further studied because there was not enough information to report that the person had actually died, so that was a lie. After careful review of every reported death that has happened after Gardasil or Gardasil 9, CDC concluded there was no pattern of death occurring with respect to time after vaccination, and there was no consistent vaccine dose number or combination of vaccines given among the reports. The evidence did not suggest a causal link between Gardasil and the reported deaths. The Vaccine Safety Data Link also conducted a study evaluating the death 30 days following Gardasil. After a review of all the participating health plans of the data that identified death occurring after 0 to 30 days, there were 13 deaths identified, of which 9 were due to external causes such as accident, homicide, suicide. Of the 4 remaining deaths, 2 were determined unrelated to vaccination, and the other 2 did not have sufficient evidence to confirm or rule out whether Gardasil caused the death. In analyses that included analyses that included comparisons of the rate of death following Gardasil in the study of national death rates for all causes in the United States, the risk of death was not increased during the 30 days following vaccination, and no deaths were found to be causally connected or associated with vaccination after clinical review. New York Legal Examiner, 21-year-old died in 2008 shortly after receiving the Gardasil HPV vaccine. The Tarsal family blamed the vaccine for the tragedy and sought to hold the public maker Merck accountable. Family appeals and wins compensation for alleged Gardasil death. The young woman died after receiving the 3rd Gardasil vaccine in a series. She had received 2 other doses in 2007. After her 2nd dose, she showed signs of an irregular pulse, arrhythmia. An electrocardiogram confirmed the problem a month later. After the 3rd dose, she reported feeling faint and dizzy, but did not go to the doctor prior her death on June 23rd. I wonder if this is the case. This might be the one fucking case. I wonder if this is her. In 2010, the parents filed a claim. Special master ruled that the family had not met the burden of proof that they had failed to demonstrate the arrhythmia occurred only after the administration of the vaccine or show the death was caused by the vaccine. Family appealed the decision to Court of Federal Claims. Said 8 years ago her daughter died. This was in 2007. No, she said 13 years ago. I don't know.
We are not told, we are not given true informed consent, much less about an emergency use approved vaccine.
Yeah, so I'm not technically fired. I'm on unpaid leave, but I can't work, which is my job's remote. So they locked me out of.
Oh my God. So she's not even fucking fired. They're just like, dude, get the vaccine and then you're fine. Like, just you can come back to your job. So she just lied. Oh, that's sick.
Just working, and they just said, even though you're remote, there's a hypothetical possibility that you could come in to do something at our office, but my department hasn't had a physical office in years, so it just seemed like I was basically put on unpaid leave for my poor thought hygiene rather than anything related to COVID.
I live here.
That seems like one of those specific cases where like they just straight up did not like her and she was annoying, so they're using this as an opportunity, or she's lying. Because like they kind of, I mean, I guess they could get in trouble. That's the reason why, right? They can get in trouble by the government if they have unvaccinated employees, technically. Like, or it could be an insurance problem. Are you with the jabby or not? Now I'm confused, dude. I'm boosted. Like, you're talking to someone who got a booster. I don't know why I'm trying to be charitable to a person who's literally holding up a fucking sign that says fired from my remote job. Just a lie. Like, which is something that she admits is a lie. And she's not even fired, that she could get her job back. She's on unpaid leave. I don't know what the fuck Harvey Weinstein has to do with this either, but hey, you know.
And obviously the mandate was just instated here recently. And
poor thought hygiene rather than anything related to COVID.
I live here in DC, and obviously the mandate was just instated here recently. And talking to people in the area, they believe that because I'm not vaxxed, I shouldn't be able to go to a restaurant and get food. They think that I should only be able to go to a grocery store and be stuck in my house because I'm a threat to public health. And I think that people should.
I mean, I think you shouldn't even be able to go to the grocery store, honestly. Seems like the people in your neighborhood are much more understanding and nicer than myself.
Should learn to educate themselves. The fact of the matter is the vaccine is not going to protect everybody else if I get it.
My body, my choice. My body, my choice. No more mandates. No more mandates. No more mandates. Joe Biden, freedom over fear.
So I'm not sure if you know, but Daily Wire led the charge on the SCOTUS case where we just knocked down the mandate for companies with over 100 employees. So we were the first company actually that sued Biden in the whole country. I know, so it's very exciting, but we still have work to do with healthcare workers and federal contractors. So what do you think the next steps are?
For each state to work with the constituents in that state to prohibit any mandates, to support those people who were not given that right in the medical field.
How did you feel that day when that SCOTUS decision was made?
I was pretty upset and kind of thought that I would never work as a nurse again, trying to figure out where I could work other than Chick-fil-A because I know they don't require that, but really just disheartened because I have all these student loans. Like, I worked really hard in nursing school and then just have it taken away for something that, it's just not right for me. The Supreme Court ruled that it was unjust for employers of over 100, but it doesn't make sense to me why healthcare workers wouldn't have the same rights.
I'm not sure what the next steps are. I have family members who are healthcare workers, family members who are federal contractors, so at least I'm glad that companies that don't want to enforce the vaccine mandate and fire the employees are all set.
What are you worried is going to happen next?
I'm scared that New York and California are kind of the ones who set precedent, and then the rest of the country kind of just follows along. But I'm also hopeful that maybe we.
Yeah, the healthcare worker thing is like additionally psychotic. You know what I mean? If you're a fucking healthcare worker and you don't want to get vaccinated, like, I don't trust you. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, that's crazy. How the fuck? How can I trust you to do the right thing? How can I trust you to make the appropriate medical decisions? Like, that's crazy. Wild.
We could overturn some things by doing things like this.
Nurses are cuckoo sometimes, dude. I know. Trust me, I know. They do a crazy job, man. I've talked about this before. Like, I know a lot of nurses. Their job is fucking insane. I mean, they have to make it. Like, I have a friend. I was talking to her last night, actually. The nurse. She had to take time off because she could not deal. Her doctor was really chill and allowed her to take time off, which is unheard of in a lot of these hospital systems. They're not unionized. And she was literally fucking losing her mind. She's like, I had to take time off because I was going crazy. In California, there's a restriction where nurses only deal with, I think, maximum 2 patients or 3 patients at a time. In New York, they don't have that restriction. That's why nurses were looking after 7 patients. So there was a situation where they were super understaffed. And on fucking Christmas Eve, she had to decide which one of her 3 patients in critical condition was going to die. Like, she was describing it to me where she's an ICU nurse. And she had to decide on Christmas Eve, working by her fucking self, which one of her 3 patients was going to die. She had to make that decision. And there are so many cases like this, triage, so many instances of triage that registered nurses are subjected to, especially as a consequence of COVID. And that's a deeply frustrating situation. And then you have these fucking piglet nurses who are like, I don't want to take the fucking vaccine. It's like, dude, what are you doing? Yeah, firing nurses seems real smart and progressive. Dog, I don't think you're understanding what the words that are coming out of my mouth, okay? If you're a fucking nurse and you're an anti-vaxxer, that does not compute. You're a psycho. That speaks to your otherwise, that speaks to your overall fucking lack of processing power and your mania and your inability as a healthcare worker to make the appropriate medical decisions for someone else. Do you see what I'm saying? Especially because, like, the reason why you're overwhelmed right now as a nurse is because people are not getting, people are just not getting the vaccine.
By showing that we as a country, we don't want this.
I would like to think that I'm very helpful. Good. I'm so glad. That's positive.
I was glad to see other people seem to care because I don't really see a lot of it on the media, and I kind of feel forgotten. Like, no one really cares about the healthcare workers because I worked through the whole pandemic, so it doesn't make sense, why last year we were heroes and now I'm like this villain that's murdering patients.
Hopefully people will come together because it's not a politically right or left issue. We're in this together to help each other.
It has been great to be here today to hear personal stories from everyday Americans about how they have been impacted by these vaccine mandates. Thank you again for supporting Daily Wire as we sued Biden and OSHA to overturn the mandate for companies with over 100 employees. For more information and updates, go to
Dude, Jen Shapibo is killing it. Wait, what is this? Anti-mandate protesters are holding a Twitter space emergency meeting in response to the state of emergency. One who was at the Windsor-Detroit border blockade tells a story of how their communications were infiltrated, leading to organizational collapse. Protesters were using Zello, a live communications app. The problem was counter-protesters were spamming the channels with a gay cowboy anthem Ram Ranch, so they moved to a new channel. The problem was the moderator of the channel turned out to be a double agent. This person gained our trust. We trust him as a moderator. Traitor, traitor, another person yells. The moderator, who turned out to be a part of the resistance, apparently shut things down and ruined their ability to communicate, allowing the police to roll up the blockade. It's a morale blow, he said. Another guy adds, what a clusterfuck. And someone started playing Ram Ranch on this feed. Christ on a cross, one protester yells. Things have kind of fallen apart. It's just so funny that like they just keep getting owned by fucking Ram Ranch, dude.